I looked around before cupping my hands and shouting, "Uncle Mike, if you're here, we need to talk." "He is not present." The voice came from behind me. I whirled to find Istis standing less than 2 feet away, her head cocked to the side, a quizzical expression in her dark brown eyes. She was wearing her hair loose for once, hanging around her round face in heavy black waves, and had a bright blue feather fascinator clipped above one ear. She was probably the most stylish Wahila in the world, for certain values of stylish. She was still a Wahila. I took a step back. "Personal space, Istis, remember? We've talked about this." "My apologies." She also took a step back, creating an acceptable bubble of emptiness between us. Istis was a coworker, a friend, and someone I was perfectly happy to share a converted slaughterhouse with. Sometimes she was also a giant man-eating wolf bear from the primal heart of humanity's nightmares. I like her a lot, but having her stand too close can still remind my reptile hindbrain that part of her will always view me as prey. "Your not relation and Ryan are currently not present." "Oh, where are they? I have news." "They said we required provisions, and Ryan wanted to inform Kitty that we would be accessible via telephone only for the duration of the crisis." Istis suddenly smiled, showing teeth that were too sharp to be entirely human. "I am very pleased that we will be staying here. It makes Ryan feel better and increases the potential for carnage." "Oh, trust me, the potential for carnage is very high right now," I muttered. Then I paused, an unpleasant thought striking me. Istis, not to be indelicate or anything, but what is it that you eat?" "I can eat all types of human food, although I am very fond of pizza and chicken wings. They're crunchy." "Oh, good," I began. But Istis wasn't done. "I am also fond of alley cats, small dogs, and urban rodents. I make an excellent rat casserole. Ryan says I am a natural." Istis perked up. "Would you like me to prepare dinner?" "No. But there are some people I think you need to meet before we do anything else." Freed from the confines of their front hall closet, the Aislinn mice had been busy. Their raiding parties had returned with several dead rats and a codal, a feathered snake 4 feet long. It was probably a towhill, one of the smaller, less venomous varieties, judging by the color of its plumage. The mice had been in the process of skinning the thing when Istis and I arrived, and I didn't feel like interrupting dinner preparations to find out. It was funny in a way. If Dominic had killed the codal, I would have lectured him for days about harming cryptid wildlife that wasn't dangerous to the human population. But the codal was one of the natural predators of the Aislinn mice, and if they wanted to eat it before it could eat them, I wasn't going to hold it against them. The entire colony stopped their preparations for the moving feast when Istis and I walked into the office, and a sea of tiny heads turned in our direction, tiny black eyes glittering in the overhead light. More heads poked out of the walls, and the converted Barbie house, which was now surrounded, I saw, with smaller lean-tos and half-built ceremonial buildings. This wasn't just a feast. It was a barn-raising, Aislinn style. All the more reason for me to get this taken care of quickly. "Hello, colony," I said. "Hail!" replied the mice with one voice. Istis jumped. "Verity?" She stepped closer. This time I didn't remind her about personal space. "There are mice." "Yes, I don't want you to eat them, so it seemed to me that introductions were in order." She gave me a sidelong look, expression clearly indicating that I might well be insane. I'd been seeing that face since I was old enough to get sent home from kindergarten for telling fibs. To their credit, my parents had grounded me, not for telling fibs, but for being stupid enough to tell my teacher about the time my grandmother shot the boob fairy with a load of buckshot. All the teacher heard was that things were taken care of, and they were. I became a much better liar after that. "The mice are talking," said Istis patiently, in case I had somehow failed to notice. "True," I agreed. "Colony, this is Istis." "Hail, Istis!" declared the mice. Istis jumped again. Then she turned and glared at me like this was all an elaborate hoax that I was staging for her benefit. "Make them stop talking!" "I can't. No one can. If I had that power, my sex life would be a lot less complicated." I decided to take mercy on her, always show mercy to the apex predators where possible, and cleared my throat before saying, "In the interests of maintaining local harmony, I invoke conversation for cake." The mice cheered once before going eerily silent. Istis stepped closer still until I could feel the heat of her skin. I managed not to step away. A small figure appeared on one of the wooden paths winding around the former Barbie dream house. It made its slow way up to the very top of the structure, leaning heavily on its staff with every step. I didn't offer to help. The high priest was proud. If he wasn't, he would already have stepped down, letting a younger, more energetic mouse take his place. I wouldn't shame him by acting like he couldn't make the walk on his own.